Hey, it's Joe again with Amalgam, and I'm here to show you how easy it is to create repeatable schedules where you can come in month to month and update an existing schedule with new information and load that information to your GL or wherever you're sending it. Or also just have a template that you use every time you get a new client or new company, you're able to make it repeatable. And there's really three easy things kind of with that. I think one, quality Excel setup. Two, using the reset functionality within Amalgam, and then three, using the relink functionality within Amalgam as well. So I'll talk you through the schedule very briefly, and then I'll kind of show you through the functionality. So I've got a little cover page here. You can see it's a depreciation schedule, I'm calling it. I've got my global variable or global date here for my schedule. I've got a couple checks and some instructions. So really good if you're sharing it across teams. Someone can pick it up and use it pretty easily. Fixed asset schedule here. I've got 5 assets kind of lined up, and then you can see how they're punched out over time with their depreciations. And then I've got a load JE tab, this is where we're going to load those journal entries into QuickBooks in this instance. And then I have a GL check that actually pulls in those assets, that accumulated depreciation that is then being used for our cover page. So the first thing I want to note is just like using a global variable like a date or some other function like that flows through. So I've got a date here, and that's actually pulling into my load JE. So you can see here it's referring to that schedule date. And then all these other green text cells here are just formulas that are looking up against that in terms of the different formula, if you will. So the date here, I'm looking at against the fixed asset schedule, and then it pulls it in. So you can see here I've got the April stuff. It adds up there. I'm going to change the date and see it flow through May. So let's go here. Let's change it to May 31st, 5/31/2024. Automatically our check is out, which makes sense. We didn't update any of the data. And then here you can see that flows through. It's going to pick up this date. And then in my JE tab, it now picks that up. So here we go. It's 5/31, and I've got that additional amount there. Great. So it's like the first bullet basically is I wanted to show off the Excel functionality. The second is I want to show off this reset functionality here. So you can see that this was used last month. We loaded up the journal entries into our general ledger, and the file still says synced here. That means those journal entries were synced and they're still connected. So within Amalgam, if I hit sync right now, it'll actually update those existing journal entries or this one journal entry and change the date and change the numbers. We obviously don't want that, right? That was for last month. This is for this month. So all I have to do here is just hit this reset button where I disconnect the sheet from an existing record. So hit that reset functionality, and you can see that this changed from synced to new. So now this is new. It's ready to roll. I'm ready to update this. I have my data flowing through nicely. If I hit sync, it'll do its checks and it will go through. But you can see I'm acting as a rookie here. I didn't select an action. I need to tell it to upload this. So let me have the upload for all of these lines. And I hit sync now. Now the instructions are there to be uploaded into the general ledger. Again, in this case, QuickBooks. So we're doing a little thinking here, and there we go. We get the success message. These have now been synced. Perfect. The third part here I want to show you, or just the kind of intermediate part, is just around the check. So I've got this general ledger. I've got it flowing through 5/31. But we haven't run that yet. We can see our checks are incorrect, right? Because we actually haven't updated our check tab. So let me go here and run this. So you can see my Amalgam toolkit's dynamic. It recognizes we're in the general ledger. I hit run report. It'll run this, and I have my data just pulling here, and you can see that's updated with the additional stuff. So now my checks should work out if I come to my cover, which is great. I've loaded up my journal entries through May. I've checked my data through there. So there you go. This schedule is updated. If it's the same client you're using month to month, you're good to go. The third and final thing I want to show you here is, let's say you have this schedule, you really love it for one client or company and you're using it, and you want to use it for a different company. Super easy to do that. In any template within Amalgam, you can see here, this is the ABC widgets business that we're connected to. If I ever want to switch it to another business, I can do that really easily. I can just use this relink button. So this is if I want to reconnect to an integrated system. I'm connected to ABC widgets. Let's say I want to connect to Amalgam business now instead. It'll recreate that report, but in the same sorts of formats and things to that nature. So let's do a little thinking right now. We've got the new UI here that shows off our spinning logo, which I do enjoy to see. And now we've got the journal entry load JE is updated, and you can see now it says Amalgam software. You'll have to do some updating, right? Because now my accounts might not be exactly mapped. Like the previous one was 1850. Now this is 1850. So you'd have to go ahead and find the actual accounts. But you have the same template. I have everything that's linking the same way. The formulas are here. It's all ready to go. So really helpful if I want to replicate an existing schedule. So that's kind of the review here that I wanted to do. Again, the summary is really optimizing Amalgam by using kind of global variables that flow through the entire structure. B, having templates set up where you can use that reset functionality that allows you to say, hey, I've got my template set. I want to make new entries for this month versus last month, so on, and kind of use that going on. And then the third bucket is if you want to relink this to a different company, let's say you get a new client and you want to use a similar schedule for the new client, you can hit that relink button that we just showed and it can connect to a new business. So that's kind of the rundown. Thanks for watching, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.